Hey there, kids. Pete here from Comic Book Geezers. Welcome to another edition of the show. We got a fun one for you here today. Of course, my co-host, as always, over here.
Hello, comic book fans. I'm Wild Billy on Comic. Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Geezers. As Pete was saying, we're going to do part 2 of famous story arcs.
Yeah, those extended stories where they go, a couple issues or sometimes a lot more than that, where you got to kind of read them all to find out what the hell is going on, right? So we both pulled out a couple here that we kind of like. I don't know, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I guess I'll start off.
Yeah, go for it.
The crossover battle between the Avengers and Defenders. Avengers Defenders Clash, I think is what they called it. But this starts off in Avengers issue 115, and this book actually has 2 different stories, and the 8-part story that we're talking about is actually the second story in this book, so that's what I'm going to talk about. This cover is a Romita Mike Esposito cover, but on the inside, the story is written by Steve Englehart, and the inside art is by Bob Brown and Mike Esposito. In the end of Thor 207, Loki's blind and he falls off a cliff to his death, or so we
think.
They said. They said. But the evil nemesis of Doctor Strange, what's his name?
Dormammu.
Dormammu,
yes.
Right, Dora, right? Dormammu? I can't say it.
Dormammu, yeah. Dormammu's awesome.
So he saves Loki from falling to his death. And then he propositions him about this evil eye, and they join forces because I can't even say this dude's name.
Dormammu, yes.
Why do I think Dormammu or something? I don't know.
Just call him Dora.
How about Dorm?
Yeah.
Dorm for short. So Dorm says
Dormammu.
That there's this evil eye, and if he gets a hold of it, it can somehow spread, and it can envelop the Earth. And if the evil eye makes his dimension get bigger, and it can swallow up the Earth, then he can attack the Earth because he was defeated by Doctor Strange back in Strange Tales, and was told he had to swear never to bother Earth's dimension.
That's right. Yeah.
So he can't. He's like bound by a contract that he can't mess with the Earth. But this creates a loophole. This evil eye, if it makes his dimension, Dorm's dimension can envelop the Earth, and then he can tackle the Earth and take it over. So that's a loophole. Yeah. And Loki likes this idea, so they join forces.
Of course he does.
And then it goes on into issue number 8 of the Defenders. And they, in this issue, the Black Knight is out in the Dark Realm. Like, his soul has been separated from his body. And Doctor Strange sends a message to his soul, and it gets intercepted by Dorm and Loki. And they take the message and twist it and send that message to the Defenders. And basically, they're setting a plot to pit the Defenders against the Avengers.
Just get rid of all of them, right?
Yeah, make your enemies fight each other. So that's a little bit of it.
Keep going. You got it started. Keep going.
Okay. Issue 116. So now, again, this is a Romita Esposito cover. Again, Bob Brown and Esposito on the inside. So the Avengers, they go to Doctor Strange's house in Greenwich Village, and Wong answers the door and slams the door in their face. And then Thor breaks the door down with his hammer, and they try to go inside, and they get kicked back out into the street because there's some kind of there's some kind of protective force field that Doctor Strange has put up, so it keeps the Avengers outside. And meanwhile, the Defenders are coming up with a plan to find the 6 pieces of the evil eye. And Loki tells the Avengers about the Defenders' plan because he doesn't trust Dormammu anymore. Because he thinks he's going to double cross him. So Loki goes and rats out Dorm's plan to the Avengers. And the Avengers take action. And the Silver Surfer's in the volcano looking for the evil eye. And his power cosmic causes a volcanic eruption. And like debris flies out of the volcano. And the Scarlet Witch and this Vision are flying by in a flying craft. And debris flies through the ship and almost kills the Scarlet Witch.
So Vision ain't happy.
So he takes that like a personal attack. So he comes on down and fight and kick ass with the Silver Surfer. So that's what like starts the wedge right there. It was an honest mistake. He was flying around a volcano. Shit's volatile. You're gonna have chemical reactions. Sure, if you're flying by, shit's gonna come flying through your plane. I didn't mean it, you know. So that's 116. Then it flips back into Defenders number 8. Okay. Now we got a Sal Buscema cover here.
Yep.
And Sal did the inside art. So in this one, you got Iron Man and Hawkeye fighting each other for pieces of the Evil Eye.
2 former teammates right there. Right?
And then in part 2, you got Doctor Strange, and he's out in the Midwest, and he finds a piece of the Evil Eye first. And then Black Panther and Mantis catch up to him. And they don't want him to have it. So is there going to be a clash? Remains to be seen.
I think so.
So then we go back to issue 117, right? Again, a John Romita, Mike Esposito cover.
Yeah, good one.
So Dormammu, he's shocked. What?
I'm just saying, you know who that arm is, right?
Is that Sunfire?
Yeah.
He gets in here. So you got Dormammu's shocked about the Avengers fighting the Defenders for the Evil Eye, so he stays out of it. He backs off. He's going to let that play out. He's like shocked. It's working. His plan is working. And then you got Valkyrie fighting the swordsman in this, and the swordsman gets shot by this other dude, like a civilian. He's got this special kind of ray gun, and it messes up the Black Knight. So that's one fight for a piece of the Evil Eye. Mm-hmm. And then the third fight is between Namor and Captain America. And as they're fighting for the eye, Sunfire comes along and snatches it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. This is a really well-crafted story.
But this is the issue where they start to realize that they've been set up.
Someone's pulling the strings here. Yeah, exactly.
So then we go back to Defenders number 10.
Yeah, this is classic right here.
So you got another John Romita cover, and Sal Buscema's on the inside. But this is Hulk versus Thor. They have a fight out in L.A. Hulk's looking for a piece of the Evil Eye, and he gets there, but Thor's going to try and stop him from taking it. So Namor goes to Doctor Strange's house with the 5th piece, and he brings the Avengers with him. And that's when they figure out that Dormammu.
Dormammu's? Sounds like some kind
Dormammu.
of
Sounds like
cold medicine.
Yeah, I can't even pronounce it. Did you take
I will say that is one of the best Hulk versus Thor fights ever. And they fight to almost the entire issue to an absolute standstill, right? Like they're both like exhausted like at the end, and finally they realize, why are we doing this, right? Because by then everybody realizes that we're being played.
So we count on we go into Avengers 118.
Yep.
And they get another John Romita cover, right?
That's great.
So you got Bob Brown on the inside. You got Dormammu has the Evil Eye and is using it to merge his dark dimension with Earth. So you got 14 heroes have to battle out and powerful villains, and they've only got like an hour inside the Dark Realm to get this mission accomplished. And the Dread One wipes out all the Defenders, and Thor and Iron Man fall. So it's all up to the Scarlet Witch to go against Dormammu. Then we get to issue 11, part 8. All right, we got a John Romita cover. We got Sal Buscema on the inside. We got Dormammu, right? He needs to return he's defeated. Dormammu's finally beaten, and the next task is they need to return the Black Knight's body from stone back to human flesh.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So the Defenders travel back in time looking for him. And they go back to the 12th century, and he's in the middle of the Crusades fighting it up and kicking ass. So they have to, basically take him away from the action down there. But yeah, what a crazy, twisted tale.
Yeah, that's, what, I think, I don't know if that was the first, but that was one of the early great crossovers that went every month back to the other book and back and forth, and that really well done. If you guys haven't read that, you need to. It's really very, very cool.
And it's probably a whole bunch of the story I didn't even get to.
There's
so much going on.
I know,
man, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the gist of it, gang.
Yeah. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you. I was worried. That was a lot of homework, kids.
All right, well, mine's not quite as lengthy as that one, but this is pretty.
But that's
cool
a good
too.
story arc, and I wanted to do it on our first time around, but it's involved.
Better late than
I
never.
thought that was a show in itself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's kind of like the Thor one that I did the last one.
Yeah.
That one's the 30 issues, right?
All right.
20 issues.
So
right? So this one's a little shorter, so I gave myself a little less homework to do. But this is really cool. And in essence, this is almost like two separate little extended storylines, but they really actually merge, and I'll get to it in a second. So here this is Fantastic Four. So this is issue number 166. All right, so here, Reed Richards has come up with an idea on how to cure Bruce Banner from turning into the Hulk, right? So the idea is to capture him, put him under, and then subject him to this kind of like ray contraption thing that he's created, right? But the thing is, you have to capture the Hulk and render him unconscious in order to be able to do that, right? So as always, they go to capture the Hulk. The Hulk and the Thing get into this big battle, whatever, and Reed Richards devises this plan to have Sue Richards envelop the Hulk's head in like an invisible force field to cut off the airflow, which would knock him unconscious. So as she does that, the Hulk is slowly starting to slow down. Reed says to the Thing, all right, now, Ben, while he's almost unconscious, let him have it. And Thing is like, because the Thing is not a kind of hit someone from behind or hit him when they're down type of guy. So he's like, but why? It's like, we already have him. Why do I have to hit him while he's, barely conscious? And Reed was like, you got to do this. You got to do this. So Thing does it. But he feels really bad about it, right? So then they have the Hulk all chained up, right? And he slowly starts to turn back into Bruce Banner. But the whole experiment is not over yet. And all of a sudden, Thing starts to say, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? He doesn't deserve it. You know what? We're treating him like a monster. Look at what we're doing. He and I are so similar. So all of a sudden, the Thing kind of loses it a little bit and breaks Banner out. Banner then turns into the Hulk, and the Hulk and the Thing wind up then teaming up against the Fantastic Four in the military, right? So they go off together. The Hulk is all excited because he's like, oh, I got a new friend. I got a new friend. Yay! We fought before. Now we're friends. So that leads into
crushing Earth together.
Exactly. So that leads into issue number 167. So of course, the Fantastic Four are now trying to convince Ben that's like, you don't know what you're doing. You need to rethink this, whatever. So they wind up going back and forth, until finally the Thing starts to get like dizzy and wondering what's going on. He's like, all of a sudden he feels he's not as strong and all this kind of weird stuff happening. And then, as it turns out, this is kind of weird. They don't really get into too much of an explanation as to why it happens.
Thingapause?
Huh?
Thingapause?
Thingapause, yeah, it could be this. Hulkapause, yeah, something like that. Because he has spent so much time in close proximity with the Hulk, and because of the radiation, the initial experiment that they did when they first captured the Hulk, somehow the gamma rays are working to counter-effect the cosmic rays that have turned him into the Thing, and
it's reversing the reaction.
It's reversing the reaction, and he turns back into Ben Grimm. Right?
Thanks, Hulk.
Yeah, right? So he's all excited, right? Whatever. So at the end of this issue, he turns back into Ben Grimm. The Hulk goes like, oh, great. Once again, one of my new friends has been taken away from me. Bah! And he leaves, right? So all of a sudden, the Hulk is not a part of the storyline anymore.
Sure changed again, Hulk.
So, Ben Grimm is all excited and no longer the big ugly Thing. I can go have a normal life with Alicia, right? But what is, Reed?
What's the Fantastic Four going to do?
Exactly. It's like, so where's
your replacement?
Four, right? So Reed is like, well, I'm happy for you and all that, but I got to replace you because it's in the contract of
what
us
is
being
this
a team.
crap?
You got to be a superpowered being, and you're not anymore. And Ben's like, what? You're going to replace me? So he's as happy as he
I'll
is.
build you a suit.
Well, not yet, but yeah, we're gonna get there. Don't spoil it. So yeah, so he's happy that he's a man again, but he's pissed off that he's not part of the team, right? So what do? They go and they start auditions, and who do you know? Who do they replace him with? But Luke Cage, Luke Cage, Mr. Power Man himself. But what's really interesting, and it kind of foreshadows a lot of what happens.
He fits in well. He's a good replacement.
He fits in well, but he immediately starts talking about like how much he's getting paid every week. Because, of course,
he's a hero for hire.
So, like, Ben is listening to this. He's like, we never got paid. What are you talking about getting paid? So, what does that tell you?
We don't get paid either.
That should foreshadow something. Because why would Reed pay anybody if it was going to be a long-term thing? More about that in a second.
Yeah.
So, then...
pay is a short term.
Pay is a short term. So, I'm forgetting.
So, Luke Cage is a Band-Aid.
So Luke Cage is a Band-Aid, but he's part of the team, right? And then all of a sudden they stumble upon the Wrecker. The Wrecker is out robbing a bank, whatever. And
could use him.
Yeah, right? So they get into a fight with him, but they're listening to the dialogue that the wrecker is talking about, and the wrecker is like, why did I just rob that bank? I'm not a bank robber guy. Oh, well, whatever. So the wrecker is like saying and doing things that are not really normal. So they get into this fight with the wrecker. It's a pretty back and forth, but they eventually do overtake the wrecker, right? And they beat him. But something's amiss, right? Yeah, great cover. Something's amiss, which we find out in the next issue, which is issue number 169. So all of a sudden, at this weird moment in time in this issue, I don't know if you want to hold it up, they're hanging out at the Fantastic Four building, and all this, and they're playing with. Luke is playing with little Franklin and all that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden, Luke goes ballistic and starts trying to kill Sue Richards.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't understand why. And then, Johnny Storm comes in, Mr. Fantastic comes in, Luke Cage is going berserk. Why is he doing this? And he's talking like, I have to kill the Fantastic Four. I have to kill the Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. And we're thinking that something is going on here. Someone is pulling the strings. Of course. Who's pulling the strings?
Dormammu?
No. It's the Puppet Master. So it's Alicia Masters, who is Ben's girlfriend, is pulling the strings from prison. So he's got this little. He created like a little
voodoo doll
of
Ben.
He also had it of
Luke Cage,
the Wrecker.
Okay.
He also had it of the Wrecker. So what he's been doing is in prison, he's been devising these plans to, of course, destroy
the Fantastic
Four. So here he's got a Luke Cage one. So Luke is going berserk. So then Ben, of course, wants to help, but he can't. But then, of course, when the big bombshell is revealed, Reed goes to him. It's like, well, Ben, Luke was never meant to be your permanent replacement. We only hired him for the interim because I've been busy since you lost you got changed. I've been busy at work. So then he takes him into another room and
shows him the suit.
And shows him the suit that he created, so he could just step in and be the Thing whenever he wants. Right? So they put the suit on. They go. They find Luke Cage. They get into this big, huge battle up above the skies in the Fantastic Four car or whatever the hell I forget what they call
their
it.
car.
Yeah. But then of course Alicia goes into prison and finds her father, the puppet master, and they find the little voodoo puppet thing hidden behind a little slot in the stone wall. No. In his cell, right? And they destroy that. So then all of a sudden Luke comes to his senses. It's like, no,
spell's been lifted.
Yeah, spell's been lifted. I'm okay.
Just like when the vampire dies, the victims are free from the spell.
Yeah, exactly. So they go through this whole thing, but then Luke's like, all right, that's it, I'm done. I'm good. And they're like, okay, we don't need you anymore. Your service is not needed, but thank you.
Thanks for being on our show.
Exactly, and they continue on for as the Fantastic Four with Thing in the suit, but as of course as history sheet, he turns back into the Thing, not in the not too distant future, whatever. But I thought a pretty cool little run of issues there. That's not quite the big long epic, but it's pretty good nonetheless.
These two were special to me when I was a teen because these were like the only real Fantastic Fours I had because the Hulk was in them.
Yeah, those are good ones. Yeah.
And then I got this one signed by Joe Sinnott a couple of years ago.
Nice.
So I just showed one off in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Nice story arc there, Pete.
Yeah, pretty cool. Luke Cage in the Fantastic Four. Luke Cage was also briefly in the Defenders as well. So, but this was kind of cool because I remember reading this at the time and thinking, we talked about in a previous episode we were talking about the strongest Marvel heroes. It was at this point in time where I think we were finally starting to realize just how powerful Luke Cage really was. I mean, he went toe to toe with the Thing here, even though the Thing with the suit.
And he stepped in for him.
Yeah, exactly. So
pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff. So that's another edition of this favorite storyline arc. We'll have more of these in the future, so stay tuned. And
that's pretty much it for now. We have a couple other things cooking. While Bill's saying thanks for being here as always, and we appreciate it. Thanks for your comments and your subscriptions. Please tell your friends if they like comics about Comic Book Geezers. We're all about the love of comics. That's what we like doing, showing off our collections, and we're glad to share it with you. So stay in touch, and we'll see you next time.
I'm Peter, everybody. We'll see you real soon for more editions of Comic Book Geezers.
Take care.
Bye-bye.